Going live. Here we go. Hello, everyone. I hope you are ready for another fantastic episode, welcoming you to Wake Up to Your Life Magic. It is a podcast dedicated to asking us questions that really invite conversations to elevate our leadership, whether that's in business, whether that's political, whether that's spiritual. It's a time for us to wake up in the world. And I want to encourage you, you can check out the book and learn more about this at wakeuptoyourlifemagic.com. And today I'm so excited because I have with me the wonderful Christina Baumler. Hi, Christina. How are you?
Good, Helmut. How are you?
I'm excited. I'm excited because today we're talking about career transitions, which is something that is already happening. We're seeing people that aren't being successful in the traditional ways that we thought we were going to be. And people are shifting and changing, and you are a specialist in this area. So tell the team a little bit about what you do for people.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. And by the way, before I get started, happy birthday. A little bird told me.
Thank you. Yes. 49 never looks so happy, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely happy. So I have been working in IT for many, many, many years, more from the communications perspective. I've supported IT clients throughout the years, and I've worked in some pretty major companies like VeriSign, Freddie Mac, CGI, the federal division of CGI Federal. And I've had some really fantastic opportunities to meet some people who were just absolutely amazing. These IT leaders, IT workers, um, and the people who supported them, just I learned so much from them about how to make major transitions from a technology perspective. And so through my work that I was doing, I was more communications and employee programs. So I was helping them with communicating when we were going through major changes. I was helping identify programs that would help people, such as moving from on-prem storage to the cloud, and then a variety of other things like building out a college hire program. And really, I found a lot of joy in this experience. Fast forward to a few years ago, I was working at a government contractor, and unfortunately, I was part of a RIF or reduction in force. And it actually ended up coming at the perfect time for me. I was going through a lot of life changes at the time, and there was this opportunity. As I was doing my own job search, there was this opportunity to do some inner soul searching, so to speak, really listen to what the universe was telling me. And so fast forward to last month, I decided to start Webfooted Consulting. It was a rebrand of Webfooted Communications, which I'd had since 2012. And it really was trying to give back to the IT community by guiding them through transitions like career pivots, layoffs, even prepping themselves for promotions, and really doing that with calmness, with clarity, and taking that strategic look at how to move forward with their career.
Yeah, and it's what this is. It's such an important topic as we talk about and think about the first wave of AI will be the fast, easy things, and they are. I always say, I said this on the last podcast, right? Fear and greed move fast.
Mm-hmm.
Love and sharing move slow, but they're stronger, right? And so, and like everything in history. So what's going to move fast is AI is going to replace a lot of jobs. It's going to put people into fear mode, right? But the reality is that the resulting opportunities of new ways to apply AI to problems we never thought we would is going to be available, right? Whether that's in education, whether that's in psychology, therapy, there are going to be ways that we're going to be improving like never before. And IT people, Christina, what I love about your focus is IT people are some of the most sensitive, caring, kind, loving people. And they just may not have the leadership qualities which is an area I specialize in. And in your case, the marketing and the gusto to go out there and really put themselves in a position to not only maybe just work somewhere, maybe they're going to be a future leader of a company, or they're going to start their own business. So I love that you're focused on this niche of individuals, because they're a really important group of people.
They really are. I mean, I think IT changes the world in so many ways, and it's an amazing group of people. But I think they often don't even realize how much they get back.
Yeah, they it's interesting, I always pictured the little gnomes. That's the wrong thing. But people who tinker, right? The little, people who tinker, who are often, we overlook that they're quiet and humble, but in reality they're often very caring and sweet, and they support so much of what you're doing, right? When you're in a big corporation, man, that thing doesn't hum unless you've got a solid IT staff that usually put in crazy hours, right?
Oh,
Sacrifice their
yes.
time. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your vision then, as you think about, your life 5 years from now, the amount of people you've impacted and helped. What is it, your goal with what you're creating?
So I would, and I've been giving back for many years. I've worked. One of the things that supports this is I've been volunteering for the American Cancer Society since 1999, which is a few years. And so I'm driven by that passion to give back to people and to help people. Now I'll be honest. Sometimes that's not always the most proactive business approach, because I want to help people so much that I'm helping them beyond. As you could see with my LinkedIn, I'm helping them beyond just trying to get financial support through my services. But what 5 years from now would look like? I will have launched even more people forward in their career. I will have done it in a way that gives them the inner strength that helps them recognize just how brilliant and amazing they are, and really helps them take the. I think IT people don't necessarily toot their own horns very well, and that's one of the fun things that I do is I actually get to talk to people and I get to encourage them and I get to find those bits of brilliance. So not just from a career perspective, but I think also from a living perspective, helping people understand how wonderful and special they are and how much they give and how much they've already given in their crazy IT lives that you mentioned. The hours, the strategy, the stress, it has made a difference. It has improved life, whether it be in the workplace, whether it be helping consumers navigate through technology. It helps them move forward. So I really want to position my clients, position people whose lives I touch in some way, to move forward positively, to cultivate their hearts, to shape their futures, to really just navigate those difficult times and feel better about it, about the experience and themselves, and land jobs that really are impactful to their careers and really help make their lives even better.
Yeah, it's going to be. Oh, I say that this, the AI wave will necessitate. It's a word that I think of as a spiritual word. It's going to necessitate transformation of people.
Yes.
Right? And transformation, it's kind of funny because my next question is about spirituality, morality. So transformation, for those of you who aren't familiar with the term, right, is I call it almost the shedding of ego. The understanding that a lot of the lies that we tell ourselves, we don't even know that we're telling ourselves. They stem from those that we learn from our parents, those that we learn from the village, those that we even learn and embrace ourselves wrongly. Which is some of the work I talk about in the book. I actually walk you through exercises in those areas. But that is actually what's required for you to step up and lead your life, right? And so what you do in this area, so many of these individuals don't even know the amazing discoveries they're going to find about themselves on the other side. Let's talk a little bit about that, Kristina, your background as well as mine in corporate. I teach a 9-figure leadership model, okay, that helps people, especially targeting corporate teams. But what I've realized about my model is that so many of the principles are actually spiritual principles. A lot of the teaching that really invigorates a team, that really wants to put their heart in it, is about sort of their why. And the universal concepts of love actually inspire people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious about what you found about spirituality in the workplace. What were your opinions on it? Good, bad, indifferent? And how do you feel like that could or should or maybe doesn't need to shift in the future?
That's a tough one. I normally, I'll be honest, I normally steer clear a little bit from thinking about
Right.
spirituality in the workplace. I do want to talk, though, a little bit about your mention of transformation,
Yeah.
because transformation, in some cases, it almost ends up being a dirty word for IT folks, and not in a bad way, because everything that we've been doing for years has involved major transformation. So, and we've used, having developed a lot of messaging through the years, transformation has been a word that we've used repeatedly. So I think with my clients and IT leaders, transformation is certainly a very understood word. I'm going to think a little bit more from your from a spirituality perspective. That's a good one for me to think about. I'm thinking of spirituality in this case as being more your inner spirit and what you bring to the work. It's your ethics. It's your guiding light. It is, as I mentioned, for me, it was sometimes that inner voice that is saying, "What the heck are you doing? This isn't working. You need to make dramatic changes." And so I think that guides us in the workplace oftentimes, really thinking about, am I on the right path for me? Am I on the right path for my team that I'm leading? Do I align with the mission? Because some people don't mind this, but I think for many people, you have to be very closely aligned to the mission of what you're doing. If it's no judgment here, if it's your mission is to make money and you want to work for a startup whose mission is to make money, great, go for it. You've got everything aligned the way you need it to be. If, however, you want to do something that's going to help environmental issues, make sure that you're aligning yourself to organizations that do that. Try to find those organizations, and that, I think, really helps your inner spirit thrive as you are going through workforce challenges, because there always are going to be some that you're going to be encountering. And even as you are trying to strategically identify where you want to move forward with your career, following that inner light, and also resonating with other people who have similar interests and similar goals and similar personal missions will make all the difference in the world in having a more satisfied experience with your workplace.
I couldn't agree more. I think that, so there's a couple things that we talked on that I think are really fun to mention here. One, when we talk about this transformation, and like you said, the IT teams are used to sort of this concept. I want to invite you all that are listening and Kristina, to a concept I teach in the book. It's I talk about a creator being model of education. So I would suggest that we are raised up in it's a Prussian Western model. It was developed it was really developed during the Prussians lost to Napoleon, and Napoleon won because he was able to tell them to go left and them to go right, and they obeyed him.
Yes.
And so the Prussians were like, our people think too freely for themselves. So they developed our modern day classroom with, lined up rows, a teacher, and the authoritarian model. Now, that does not mean that it's bad. It's an effective model for organizing us. So
Yes.
it's never this or that. It's always this and that. Okay. That's my philosophy in life. There are more ands that we want to recognize. It's always and. And so the other model is what I call the creator being model, where you as an entrepreneur are sufficient. You are source. You are able to create the concepts, help the clients, attract the clients, right? Like support them, promote them. But one requires a completely different way of thinking than the other, right? Because in one, I'm
Fair.
looking for the authority. I'm looking, what part do you need me to do? The other one, I need to figure out what to do. And I'm capable of figuring out everything I need to do to make, my little, cookie shop sell, or my, new business sell. So the transformation of the human and the things you need to believe about yourself to exist in a creator being model, it's also what you need to be I'm going to call it, it's not just an extrovert, but to be a innovator inside a large company, right? If you want to innovate, you have to trust yourself and your own ideas. And
Yes.
so that's one concept of the transformation, that it's scary, but it's actually almost returning back to a way that it was. Because we all used to wake up in the morning and be like, I'm a fisher person, and I grow tomatoes for a living. So that's kind of one thought. And the other thing is that I would really encourage people to remember that you can do both. You can have your light tell you, hey, I love this job. We create, I'm going to go with something benign, pencils. We create really cool pencils for our clients who want to use different colored pencils. And if that makes you happy, because I help people color every day, awesome. And we make money, right? So
Yes.
it doesn't have to be, some I save all the trees of the earth. You may be using the trees, but it provides meaning to other humans. If something you can connect to, you're passionate about, and you can see that you're creating value, right? And I think creating money and value and your heart being okay with that, that's really cool.
Absolutely.
Okay, so as we think about, and I really appreciate, by the way, your push on like avoiding spirituality. I will say this: morality, spirituality, our connectedness. All three of these are going to be increasingly important of leaders in an AI world. It's
Oh, yes.
right. It's what AI will never be. AI will never be our moral compass. AI will never be spiritual, right? We get to think about the fourth dimension of time. We get to be manifesting beings. We've been doing it for centuries. It's what got us here. So it's what's going to get us to the next place. And it's going to, right?
AI has no soul. Frankly, it has no heart. It has no soul. It doesn't have the inner organs that make us who we are, that make us unique.
Yeah. But it does, we have to ensure that we keep dominion over that, and that
Yeah.
it's good. Ultimately, it becomes it does become moral at the end. Well, and every time humans walk through another layer of technology, right, we get moral questions we've never had. So,
Well, we had a great conversation before we started this about AI and about the future of AI and what it means. And I love AI. I use it regularly. It's helped me. It gives me more hands than I have by myself as a solopreneur. But you're right. It really does. It almost needs. I think of it as a nanny. Um, it's growing. I think AI is at toddler stage right now, and it's having some moments where it's thrashing around and it's dropping the grape juice on the white carpet and all sorts of crazy experiences that people are having, and we need to realize that it really is. It's growing up. We're learning more about it. It's very heavily marketed, and they've made it a little bit more approachable now, so more people are jumping on the bandwagon. But we have to realize that it's still in toddler stage. And no matter what age and stage it gets into, it is always going to need that human help and that human guidance to make sure that it is not doing things that would encroach on humanity and humans' ability to live.
Well, and I'm going to say something that's going to sound terrible, but it's
Oh
true.
no.
And this is why I think it's begging for an increased level of morality. And here's what I
Yeah,
mean. We're afraid of AI because we're afraid of ourselves.
that's fair.
You know, when I look in the world today, I see that we have been willing to enslave each other to social media apps that give us dopamine hits. And we've done it for money.
Yeah.
We enslave each other to everything from gambling to porn to substances. And we look at the other person and go, well, it's your choice. You know, you get your freedom, which is, yes, true. But in reality, you wouldn't want to give it to your mom. You wouldn't want your mom enslaved with all her money to those things
No.
necessarily, because you know enough that like you love your family. But our neighbors, hey, go ahead, help me make millions of dollars. So we've been okay with that, right? But now we're entering into another world. I could train AI to train people to think a certain way, right? Or I
Yes.
could completely remove, half the population's need to work, but am I just going to not pay them anything and leave them destitute? Or am I going to believe that I'm as good as my neighbor, right? Like it asks moral questions of us.
You are very, very right on that. And that is, we need to keep remembering our humanity and remembering to protect the humanity, even as we're excited. I mean, AI is a tool. Use it as a tool. Don't use it as, we've talked about jobs being replaced and things along those lines. Train your people to be better for the future. Find opportunities for them to learn. And I know this can't happen with every company, but for individuals and for companies, train yourself, train your people so that they are prepared for the future. Because the future isn't going to stop. The future is always going to come, and that's a good thing.
It is. It is. I will, Christina, this like, I get so excited because you're like bringing up these topics I don't often talk about on the podcast. So thank you so much. What's so interesting about what you said, right? Train your people. There's a love that's implicit in that, right? That you love
Mm-hmm.
your people and you care about them. And the reality is, all of the people before us, like if we just think about like the last 100 years, all of their faiths, their visions for love, their loving kindness, their sacrifice got us here,
Yeah,
right? And so it's interesting to me because unless we're prepared to level up our level of loving kindness, faith, belief, vision, we can't move it forward, right?
absolutely.
Um, and so I think that extends to every aspect of our life. And that's why I wrote the book and why this podcast touches on any of those topics, because it's going to be our corporate leadership. It's about those who have the greatest wealth and what they're called to do in this time. And it's about our politics, right? And who we're putting in office, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are all, and listen, everything's possible. We are choosing we're choosing every day. So, when you make the choice to change your career, you may choose to start changing the way you vote. You may choose to start evaluating who you vote for differently. Like, we get to be responsible.
Yes, we do. Yes, we absolutely do.
Because guess what? We have been this whole time.
Yes, and even I'll go back to way back to the '80s and Rush, and one of the songs that they had, the mode has the quote has followed me through most of my life, and that is, "If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice."
Yes,
So I think that's one of the big things. Everything we do is a choice, and we really need to think about the long term impact. And staying away from I'll stay away from politics, but it really, you are bringing up a good point overall, that we are choosing how we want our future to look with everything that we do.
exactly. We are so powerful. We are
Yes.
so powerful. And yet, so many of us, because, I mean, and I'm going to this point, right? Because we don't talk, we haven't found the love space to talk about politics. We've been extremely divided, right? We no
Right.
longer have the space to talk about spiritual things in
Right.
school or work. And I'm just even talking about them, right? We isolate ourselves, and that's so against connectedness. And that's so not what the world needs right now.
Yes, we definitely could use more connectedness. We definitely need to support each other. I look at LinkedIn, for example, and I look at these people who are laid off and they're struggling and they're hurting because it is a huge impact to your ego. Even though it oftentimes may be a business decision, but I've been through 3 layoffs. Each time it hurts, and you're really in pain. But it's not just a you thing. It's not. Oftentimes, I was talking to somebody the other day who was laid off from a very large company with 1,000 of his best friends.
Yeah.
And he, the challenge is you put so much of yourself into the company that you just feel gutted and a little bit lost when you find yourself suddenly exited from a company that you weren't expecting to leave until you retired.
Yeah. It's completely redefined what our expectations are, and it will completely and continuously redefine them, but here's the thing. Think about this. It's like we don't want to realize it, but so much of us, me too, we put so much of our value based on our title or what we're
Yes,
making and our security. And it's this humbling reality that, like, you are so valuable just because you are, right? That's
absolutely.
that's such a lesson. I see so many of these individuals, like you're saying, that are they're experiencing.
And I wish I could, I wish I had the time to spend to help every person that I meet as fully as I could. The fact is, there's only one of me to go around, and I've come to realize that. So I try to help them in little bits and pieces. But the biggest thing I try to give people is some sort of positivity to take away with them. All right, look at your resume. Look at all the things that you've done. You're an amazing person, and it extends beyond your resume. Let's talk about all the things that you're doing outside of that. You're a mother. You're a friend. You're a volunteer. These make up the whole person, and you need to be proud of yourself and how far you've come in the world. And maybe you're not the CEO of a Fortune 50 company. You may be thanking yourself that you're not, because I know very few people probably want that stress and burden. But think about all the things that you've accomplished through the week, and as you're going through job searching, as you're helping a spouse or a friend who are in this transition period, think about all the things that you accomplish along the way versus looking at, oh my gosh, I applied to 20 jobs this week and I didn't get one.
Yeah.
Well, you applied to 20 jobs this week. You got out there, you talked to people, you learned more through the experience. Praise yourself and be supportive of yourself and bolster yourself as opposed to tearing yourself down.
So hard to do. I feel like I'm like, that's hitting me. And it doesn't matter where you are. Some of us are like that, right? And we are our worst critics.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and the self-love journey, it's real. And I gotta say this because you made the 90s reference, right? Like, are you Gen X too?
Yeah.
Okay. I have this theory that our
Okay.
generation, okay, it's my Gen X theory. This theory that our generation, it's very, very important
Yes.
because the boomers are in there like, I want to sell off my business's time, right? And unfortunately, whether they know it or not, some of their generation created a lot of what we call modern day capitalism. And that's okay. Modern day capitalism elevated the whole world, right?
Yes.
China and India and South Asia, like these were horribly poor places that have really prospered. But now we're on the part where we got to make it loving, right? Loving capitalism. And you think about it, Gen Xers, we remember
We
neighborhood
do.
connection and playing outside and not the tethering, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's taking that time to, even I forget, I really love my new role that I'm doing. Sorry for the people I've worked with in the past, but I'm having much more fun than I did in corporate. I'm absolutely loving it. And it's because I have the freedom. I don't have to be looking at my work cell phone every time I leave my desk. I don't have to be carrying it to the restroom because I'm afraid I might get a call back on a message that I sent out.
I
Yes.
still do that. I still do that, FYI.
Oh no, stop it! Don't take that in there with you. I don't have to be. I don't have to be bothering somebody or worried about the all of the stuff in the middle of the night. I get to have a little bit more. I get to have a lot more of a life. It's a rich life. I had a rich life in corporate too, and there were a lot of great things that happened there. But it's just a different. It's a different shift, and I'm able to, like, the middle of the day. And I'm sorry, I know that working from home is a hot topic right now and a very sensitive thing for people. I have the ability to be working from home. I can go out and I can water my plants during lunchtime, and I've got a tomato growing. It's my first tomato. I'm so excited. But it's just these little things that give us joy, and I think that's one of the big things too that I found in talking with you that resonates is finding those moments of joy too. They can be something as silly as you're growing your first tomato plant and you've got your first tomato and hopefully the squirrels don't get to it. Or it can be something big, such as, hey, I just got an offer letter.
Yeah. And I think that's, first of all, I'll say you're in the right place. I can tell that this work for you is way more connected to where your heart is. And I can tell that your nurturing of your clients is something that they're appreciative of. And we can't do it all. We can't do it all, right? I have like in my suite of offerings, I have transformation programs. I did myself an incredible 4-month program built on 50 years of work. I don't need to be your transformation specialist. I need to give you to the transformation specialist, right?
Yes.
But to your point, I dream. We don't dream very much these days, but I think we get to dream of a world in which AI helps us to enable more time with our family or with tomato plants. But regardless of what level of society you're in, AI offers us the opportunity to say, hey, if we don't all have to work, what can we do about educating everyone, but giving everyone a fair shot about, I contend that we have no problem with the ruling class. I don't. I personally don't at all. I just want that ruling class to be a class that loves me and cares for me, and make sure that we all are taken care of. Yeah. So tell us, what is your? We have what's one vulnerability that you have in your current job that you would just share so people can understand that it's not all roses, because it's not, right? It's challenging too.
I think the hustle is the vulnerability, and learning how to. I don't love selling to people. I'll be very honest. I like helping people. I would love to give away my services for free, but I can't do that and survive. And so I think back to the whole put the life mask on yourself first.
Yeah.
What I'm oxygen mask. So what I'm learning is I can give up pieces of myself for free. That sounds horrible, but work with me here. I can give up pieces of myself and bits of information. I've got this thing called the career GPS on my website, which is really helping people. I work through with my clients. I work through that directly, but I'm also giving it away for free to the general public who go there because I want to help them understand a little bit more the bones of how to strategize, how to network, how to set accountability for yourself in your job search. And so that's one way I've sort of worked around the my tough point now is giving away too much of myself for free. So I find little ways that I can help and I can share information with people while also attracting people in who have the ability and the interest. And this is the big thing. And this is I got two not career coaches. I got two one business coach and one LinkedIn coach that I worked with when I started this business because I believed in investing in myself. And that's really important, and you get what you pay for. I hate to say it sometimes, but it is. Some of the folks that I've been working with, the clients that I'm interacting with, they're able to and interested in spending on themselves to grow. And one of them I was talking about initial prices and all that, and he's like, gosh, that's not even 5% of my starting salary that I should be making for the first year. And I'm like, and he said, yeah, that absolutely, because I did a lot of market research in the beginning to find out what was going to work for my ideal clients. And he said, yeah, that's nothing compared to what working with you will do for me going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that again, my vulnerability is wanting to give away too much for free.
Yeah.
But I'm learning how to give enough to be helpful to people while still saving the bulk of my time for my clients.
Perfect. Yeah. And and here's the thing. There are strategies that help us with these things, right? And I'm excited because you and I can talk after this and share some of those things.
Yeah.
What you'll find, for any of you who are listening, as you make this transition, right? So as you go, if your transition is from corporate to corporate, great, right?
Yes.
Kristina is going to help you with that. I'm going to help you with that to go make more money in corporate, leading a team. If you are looking to go solo, what you find is that the collaboration is currency is true.
Yes.
The more connections, the more you meet people, the more you learn this piece and pick up this piece, the more strong you become as a solopreneur.
Very
And,
much so.
right, and it's a transformation. I think we already said that at some point, right? Expect to be changed greatly, and all change comes through suffering. That's just how we are as humans, right? It does. Like we learn through pain and failure. Yay! Go
Yes,
live.
you definitely do.
Go live. All right. So speaking about pain and failure, Kristina,
Oh,
let's talk about. So we go through life. There are these things that we learn that are so valuable that we wish we could have shared with someone younger than us. They're like, "Oh, learn this one earlier," right? What's one little thing that you learned? Could be personal, could be professional. Can be heroic or can be very simple, what's something that you learn along life's journey that you would just share with people to remember, to think about, or to possibly gain insight so that they can avoid a pothole?
So it's actually something recent that I've read that has pulled so many things together that have happened because I let things happen to me over the years. And that's actually Mel Robbins' The Let Them Theory,
Yeah.
which I love. I highly recommend it for anyone going through a life transition, a life transformation, and especially those who are going through a layoff. And when I look through, again, I said I've had three corporate layoffs that I've been through. The first one, I was in my when I was notified, I was in my third trimester with my second child. I was a little bit of a mess through it.
Oh, I bet you're
Oh
probably
yes,
a hormonal ball of tears.
oh yeah. But the funny thing was too that I stayed as an employee until I went out on maternity leave. So I was on my best behavior because I wanted that package at the end, and
Yeah.
I would have been on my best behavior anyway. I'm not a destructive person. So the big thing is if you are given an opportunity, no matter how hard it is, if you're given an opportunity in the middle of a difficult change, learn from it, embrace it. My opportunity was to look at all of the turmoil that I was feeling from that layoff during a very momentous, important time in my life, and to figure out. I took a lot of it personally for a long time. I was really hurt because I buy into a corporate brand very fully. I'm only applying to companies. When I've applied, I was only applying to companies that I could align with the mission on. And so it was hurtful when they made the business decision to eliminate the CorpCom staff on the East Coast. But it was also a business decision.
Mhm.
And so fast forward 13 years from then, when Freddie Mac said, "Oh, it's time to move," and again, I was part of a group layoff, and it was easier then. First off, I knew some of the signs to look for. It was heartbreaking because I really did love working for Freddie Mac. I loved the mission. I loved the people I got to work with. So many smart, talented people. I loved the opportunities it gave me. But I think I was more. I didn't have the anger as much as I had with the VeriSign layoff. And then fast forward to my third one, which was actually a blessing. It was such a good thing. I was going through some severe life challenges at the time, and I didn't feel like I could leave that that secure job. I was going through a divorce, so I didn't feel like I had the ability to leave that job and go to another. And the job wasn't. The team was wonderful. I learned and met so many smart, great people there, but it just wasn't. It wasn't a good fit anymore. And I recognized that. My boss recognized that. And it was actually, I found myself that time, I found myself actually grateful for the opportunity to leave. So I think my advice and what I'm trying to summarize everything is when something bad happens to you, don't just focus on all the negatives, the, oh my gosh, I've lost my job. I might not be able to find a job in this crazy market. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, it's not easy. But you might find something even more important as a result of that big, heavy change that helps transform you, that gives you that unclips your wings and lets you fly in ways that you never thought was possible before. So often those difficult times can really be times of intense learning where we learn how to grow.
Absolutely. I think that's a great lesson. I've experienced layoff as well. And I will say, um, maybe this device will help you with your clients, help those of you who are listening. Um, it's very helpful for us to see two things. One, we're not that special. What I mean by that is, you know, there's almost, I think that the Old Testament Bible verse was, there's nothing new under the sun, right? Like millions of people have entered that thing, lost their grandmother, lost a job,
Right.
had a miscarriage, been violated by someone, being called a name. Like there's so many hurts in this world. But as human beings, we have the blessing of knowing that so many others have gone through it. So you're not the only one. And
Yes.
that's the first thing that helps us neutralize. The second neutralizer is to really start to see things that come in your way as neutral. How can I respond to this? And what was bad? And what you got to, Kristina, what was good? Right. And I've been able to go back to things in my past, even that were painful. And then you can see, how did this hurt me? Oh my gosh, I let it hurt me that much.
Yes.
I let it hurt me. And then how did it help me? Oh my gosh, if that had never happened, I would have never. So you realize, rear view, you're like, wow, adversity can go really well and it can teach me some hard things. And so then when it comes to you, you can start to see it as many have gone before this. How am I going to respond to it? What power will I let it have over me? And will I see my way through? And this is kind of where the spirituality part gets into play, because when you believe that there's a greater story and it's a loving one, you're like, hey, let's keep going, right?
Yes.
And when you don't, it's harder, because you really are, you don't have a community maybe, or a belief that's bigger than you. And that can be hard and isolating. So, but if it works for you, it works for you, right? Or you go inward, like whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will tell you that that's so human for us to feel all those feelings. And humans have been spiritual beings for a long time. So I'm just going to recommend it as a way to manage.
And you're right on track with that too. I mean, we all have different communities and faith in different things. Some of us, it may not be a higher power. Some it may, just very different for different people. Even for me, the work that I did with American Cancer Society and Relay for Life, I learned a lot from people who were affected by cancer. And I lost my former spouse to a brain tumor. So I built um, built the strength through the community that I
Yeah.
had gained through a few decades of volunteering, and it became very, very important, very cathartic, very cleansing, and it helped me get through that difficult time of losing
Yeah.
him.
Well, and the thing is that the purpose of spirituality, all purpose of spirituality, is ultimately to practice and imbibe love. They all point us to the same
Yeah.
direction. And what you're describing is an ultimate kind of spirituality. It's the spirituality of being connected with one another and
Yes.
loving each other. So whatever the form is, they ultimately resolve in like the same three things, which is the love of self, not the worship, but the love of self, the love of one another, right? And the understanding that there's positive, bigger things at play than just ourselves.
And that's a great point too. And as people are, again, as people are looking for jobs, as you see them, don't just don't just use the simple AI, hey, congratulations, when they announce a milestone. Actually reach out to them. Take 2 minutes, take 20 seconds sometimes, and write a heartfelt note. Hey, this is great. I remember when you did such and such. Do things to lift people up and give them hope, and keep them going when they're going through difficult transitions, because it's a tough thing right now. And that supporting and that loving, showing loving kindness to our fellow humans is so important.
It is. And I could just feel, Kristina, your love, your empathy for these individuals that you're encountering. I know that whoever hears this and has a loved one who's going through something like that will most certainly think of you. How can people connect to you outside of listening to this?
So I am always open to connections on LinkedIn. So certainly connect to me there. And then thanks for popping up my website, webfootedconsulting.com. There's a lot of free information there, as well as opportunities to connect with me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
I will welcome you as well. If you're looking for nine-figure leadership for a corporate setting, um, I teach transformation and leadership in those areas. You can check out my website, drhelmutlove.com. Well, thank you so much for being with me on this episode of Wake Up to Your Life Magic. I hope that you all who've listened have gotten some value from this. Maybe we've asked you to think a little bit more deeply. Consider the things that you're creating in your world. Consider the fact that you are a powerful, creative being. And each one of us, as we recognize our role in this life game that we're all in, we each have a very special part of magic to bring the world and to create the world to come. So I hope this has been encouraging and exciting. And until next time, take care and much love.
Thank you so much, Helmut.